Part 188. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 1872. Zhang Chen looked at Huang Jianren. He remembered something and asked, "By the way, if you don't come, will they really have a way to turn me into a gangster?" Huang Jianren was silent for a while, and then he said, "Mr. Zhang, there are many things, and the boundaries are still very blurred." "What do you mean? It's possible, right?" Zhang Chen asked. "It's not possible," Huang Jianren said. "We have to continue to do it, and if we continue to do it, you will inevitably become a gangster." Zhang Chen was startled, and he shouted, "Isn't this turning black into white, and white into black? Haha, I'm really honored to be able to become a gangster." "Huang Jianren, please tell me, how did you turn me into a gangster?" Huang Jianren picked up the teacup and took a sip, then put the cup down and said, "Mr. Zhang, of course I know you are not a gangster, but as I said before, some boundaries are still very blurry. Let's put aside for now why you became a gangster. Instead, let's discuss how you became a gangster. Being able to prove your innocence and prove that you are not a gangster, who said it is useless even if you are a good person? Du Yuzhong also led the Red Cross. What does this mean? If you want to prove your innocence, you still need to rely on evidence. Let's present the evidence first, okay?" Zhang Chen became interested and said, "Yes, Huang Jianren. Have there been several fights in your logistics base with others, surrounding farmers, other logistics companies, etc.? Huang Jianren asked. Zhang Chen was right, but they were the ones looking for trouble. Huang Jianren laughed. "A fight is a fight. There is no reason. If you fight with someone on the street, and when you get to the police station will listen to either of you, saying who scolded whom first, who made the move first. No, the police station I will only say that you were fighting in public, and you are both wrong. You said that he hit me first, that's okay. Then why didn't you call the police? The police asked you in just one sentence. If anything happens, you can just call 110. Why didn't you call the police? We are a legal society and do not encourage private relief. Otherwise, everyone will. If there is a conflict, there are fights in the streets, and there is no chaos, why do we need the police? Even if they are looking for trouble, you can call the police immediately instead of fighting with them, right? On the other hand, the other party will definitely say that you are looking for trouble with them. How can the police judge? They should listen who?" Huang Jianren asked Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen was speechless for a moment. He remembered that the police did say similar things at the Public Security Bureau yesterday. If you have something to do with the police, it's not just an empty talk. We encourage everyone to call the police, not to have a private fight. In our Beijing dialect, it's called a fight. Both parties involved in the fight are wrong. The police are wrong to identify them first. Then look at the actual results, Mr. Zhang. The actual results are that the injured party is basically the other party, and you are the one who pays the medical expenses, right?" Zhang Chen nodded and made sure that every time they fought, the other party would be their opponent. It was usually the other party who was lying in the hospital. The final result, of course, would end with them paying for the medical expenses under the mediation of the police station. "Why? Why are you the ones winning?" Huang Jianren asked. "This is not simple. Our security guards have been trained. How could they be our opponents?" Zhang Chen said. "That means you are indeed organized, right?" Huang Jianren pressed. "Also, why do your security guards need to train? It is not about training cues, neat dressing, politeness and etiquette, but training in boxing and sanda. Most units aren't our security guards trained in courtesy and etiquette? Are you training in boxing and sanda just to prepare for fights? This is the real reason why you win every time, right? In this way, it means that you are training thugs, not security guards, which is not wrong, right? Mr. Zhang, what proof do you use? Are they not training fighters? Are they not being trained to prepare for fights? Zhang Chen smiled and said, why do I feel like you've got me involved? It's not that I got involved, but what I said is true. The police will also ask this question and have such questions. If you have no way to prove your innocence at this point, this matter will be troublesome. Security guards are not trained to go to the battlefield, why do you train them like special forces? Zhang Chen was stopped by Huang Jianren's question. He felt that if the police really asked this, he really couldn't explain why he wanted to train security guards in boxing and sanda. To be honest, their original purpose was really to fight in the future. We have to win the fight. There are many things that we really can't talk about in depth, let alone take them seriously. Once we get serious, we become serious. Zhang Chen looked at Huang Jianren seriously. Huang Jianren smiled and said, Mr. Zhang, you have to know that even for our bank's security guards and economic police, we will not require them to train, let alone organize their training, let alone your logistics space. At this point, you have no way to be confident. I don't know how the police will handle the case, but I think if I continue to handle it, I will issue a joint investigation notice to all your logistics bases across the country. At this time, what will happen? You will be found everywhere. They all had fights, and in the end, the other party was basically injured, and you settled the matter by paying medical bills. Once the number increases and becomes regular, the nature of the matter changes. If we check all your logistics bases again and find out the participants in each fight, we find that they have all undergone centralized training in Hangzhou. It was an organized and premeditated act. Mr. Zhang, you said, are you unjust if you are classified as a gangster at this time? Zhang Chen broke into a cold sweat when he listened to Huang Jianren's words. If he took it seriously like this, it would really be difficult to talk about it. Zhang Chen felt a little dissatisfied, and he argued. But, I always feel that there is. What is it? You feel that you are a little unjust. This is not your original intention, right? No gangster will openly admit that he is a gangster. The most important thing is that this is the handle. If someone with intentions uses this handle, you will be unable to defend yourself. I'll go, Zhang Chen cursed. Huang Jianren laughed loudly. He reached out and patted Zhang Chen's thigh and said to him, okay, it's all over. Don't think about it so much. I'm just asking about it and chatting with you, but it's just a reminder. Your reminder made me sweat, Zhang Chen said. It's right to be scared. Having this string is better than nothing. In today's society, there are many people with ulterior motives. If you escaped Xie Zigong today, you might encounter Li Zigong or Wang Zigong tomorrow. It's better to be careful. Huang Jianren said. Zhang Chen nodded. The next morning, Huang Jianren returned to Beijing. More than a week later, the Spring Festival was about to come. Sun Ho called Zhang Chen and said to him, Zhang Chen, you can rest assured about your logistics base. Xie Zigong has just been taken away. Then, more detailed news came. Because Xie Zigong is a deputy to the National People's Congress, at 7 p.m. on February 11, at the 17th meeting of the Standing Committee of the 12th Provincial People's Congress, all Standing Committee members were temporarily convened for a meeting. The meeting was very short, only about half an hour, and there was only one item on the agenda. Additional report on requesting permission to take compulsory measures against Provincial People's Congress Representative Xie Zigong submitted to the Provincial People's Congress. Earlier, on the morning of February 10, the Standing Committee of the Provincial People's Congress received a report from relevant units requesting compulsory measures against Xie Zigong. The meeting of directors of the National People's Congress immediately approved the request from relevant units. At 4 p.m. on February 10, 2015, in Xie Zigong's office in the West Lakeside compound, law enforcement officers showed him legal documents, asked him to put on casual clothes and a mask, and took him away. Shortly after the Spring Festival, on March 2, authoritative departments announced the investigation and handling of major cases involving 14 senior cotters, the most eye-catching of whom was Xie Zigong. The reason why he stands out the most is because many people know who his father is. That night, the People's Daily WeChat official account posted, "Xie Zigong fell from the sky, you know what signal it sends." The article said in a joking tone, "Xie Zigong is very popular today, even more popular than Guo Digang. Before he was investigated, he was flying upwards on a rocket. Today Xie Zigong was investigated, and he can definitely be regarded as Xie Zigong fell from the sky." At this time, it happens to be a sensitive period when Beijing is holding the two sessions. On July 30, Xinhua News Agency announced the central government's decision to expel Xie Zigong's father from the party, and transferred his suspected criminal issues and clues to the judicial organs for handling according to law. Xie Zigong and his son have become big tigers, and their dismissal once again shows that there must be no hiding place for corrupt elements anywhere. Seeing this news, Zhang Chen let out a long breath. In the past, he felt that these big tigers were far away from him. They were all news on TV and the media. For the first time, he really felt that they were so far away from him. Close. These are all things for later. The day after Huang Jianren left, Zhang Chen called Xiao Wu to the office and told him about the training gym. Zhang Chen told Xiao Wu that the coach asked him to open the training gym outside and register a business license. Anyway, there is such a demand in society now. If he doesn't have enough money to open a training gym, I can lend it to him. He has a formal training hall, so there is no need to worry about business. We can send our people to him for training. Zhang Chen's idea was a decision he made after careful consideration. He sent the security guards to regular training centers in the society for training. It was just for fitness. It had nothing to do with recruiting and training thugs. Zhang Chen felt that Huang Jianren's reminder was right. His intention in doing so was not only to reduce the company's troubles and eliminate a hidden operating risk, but also to protect Xiao Wu. He could not leave this handle open to anyone who wanted to find out. Thank you to Quadratic VC and the reward of 2 fishes, 1 up and 1 down. Thank you to Book Friends 201911021135467118, Adam 326, How Can I Not Have the Same Name, Hydrogen Oxide Disinfection Knowledge Bureau, Book Friends 1602131845488726, and Book Friends 1502160133022826 for their monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1873. On February 14, 2015, Valentine's Day, although it was raining lightly in Hangzhou, the temperature rose sharply on this day. From the lowest temperature of 5 degrees Celsius the day before, it rose to the lowest temperature of 13 degrees Celsius. Today is New Year's Eve. On this day, many couples, after celebrating their own festival, will separate the next day and embark on their own journeys home. This time of year is Zhang Chen's busiest time. He doesn't care about Valentine's Day, and he won't be like other small bosses who spend this day hiding from his wife and busy sending flowers and chocolates everywhere. Gifts come rain or shine. The workers in the factory are starting to go home. Just arranging their train and bus tickets is a headache. The e-commerce industrial park and the dynamic zone below are already preparing to close their doors, and they have to arrange the spring festival duty. Tuxianjiayuan University hotels and logistics spaces are open normally during the spring festival, but there are still many people who have to go home, and the remaining manpower is tight. For the Riverside Oil Painting Gallery, the Spring Festival is a time for everyone to rest, but it is also their busiest time. At this time every year, a special exhibition to welcome the new year is arranged. This exhibition is their highlight every year. Because their oil painting gallery has held joint exhibitions with the Museum of Modern Art and the Guggenheim Museum in New York every year in recent years, this has made them famous among young oil painters in China. Everyone wants to have the opportunity to participate in this joint exhibition. This is the best chance for their work to reach the world. If not for such a joint exhibition, how could their works have appeared in the Museum of Modern Art and the Guggenheim Museum in New York? Having their works exhibited at the Museum of Modern Art and the Guggenheim Museum in New York can also add a beautiful touch to their creative resume, which is very attractive to auction houses and collectors. After the opening of the world-famous Painters Hall in the Riverside Oil Painting Gallery, the newly discovered works of Picasso, Matisse, Dali, Pissarro, etc. on display in it also made their oil painting gallery more sophisticated. Opportunities to communicate with other art museums around the world. They will lend their collections to other art museums, and in turn, other art museums' collections will often appear in their museums. Domestic audiences finally have the opportunity to see those world-famous paintings up close before their eyes. All these have greatly increased the popularity of their art museum. Zhao Xian has become very busy and often flies around the world. She just returned from Antwerp, Belgium yesterday, and this morning she arrived at Zhang Chen's office. She came to report to Zhang Chen about her negotiations with several collectors in Europe. They had several works that Luo Zhongli created in Belgium when he was sent to study at the Royal Academy of Fine Arts in Belgium in 1984. Zhang Chen looked at the photos she brought and asked Zhao Xian, had they been sent to Luo Zhongli to read them? Zhao Xian nodded and said, I saw it. He confirmed that he painted it when he was there. I didn't expect that we would see him again one day. That's good, Zhang Chen said with a smile, then let's make a decision and buy it. By the way, how about Xiaoshu's place? We are almost ready. There will be no problem opening the day after tomorrow, Zhao Xian said. Zhang Chen said okay, then I'll go over and take a look at it in the evening. The exhibition arranged by Xiaoshu and the others this year is We Post-1995. Almost all the authors participating in the exhibition are students who have just entered the Academy of Fine Arts and started their undergraduate studies. They have almost no chance of participating in such a high-level exhibition. Not yet. It was Zhang Chen's idea why he chose the post-95 generation. Zhang Chen said that they are almost the most energetic, they still retain that kind of simplicity and drive, and their works are the most interesting. After several years of professional study at the Academy of Fine Arts, their things may have become sophisticated and vulgar. In a few years, when they look back at their works, they may be scared. We should record this. Xiaoshu and Zhao Xian also thought what Zhang Chen said was very interesting, so they decided to hold such an exhibition to show everyone the works of the youngest generation of oil painters in China. After the exhibition, most of the works will become their collection. Xiao Fang walked in from the door. Zhang Chen looked up at her and asked her what happened. Xiao Fang shook her head and said it was okay, you continue. Xiao Fang and Zhao Xian said hello, walked to the conference table, opened their laptops and got busy, while Zhang Chen and Zhao Xian continued talking here. After Zhao Xian finished reporting, she stood up, said goodbye to Xiao Fang, and walked out. Xiao Fang then greeted Zhang Chen and said, Honey, come here and take a look. Zhang Chen walked over and stood behind her. He saw that on Xiao Fang's laptop, Mr. Wang's 88 Finance website was opened. Zhang Chen laughed and asked, What, the landlord is going to collect rent at the end of the year? How is the profit? I think there's something wrong with them, Xiao Fang said. Oh, how do you know? Zhang Chen asked. This time at the end of the year should be their busiest time. Those who have no money have to borrow money to tide over difficulties. People who lend money will also have a lot of financial needs at the end of the year and will withdraw cash. Are you right? Xiao Fang asked. Zhang Chen nodded. So starting yesterday, I tried to withdraw 1,000 yuan from each platform every day. As a result, they can no longer withdraw money, Xiao Fang said. I guess their capital chain has been broken. Zhang Chen was shocked and said, no way, Mr. Huang called me the day before yesterday and encouraged me to invest money, but I declined. You are such a jerk. He needs to find new funds because his capital chain is broken. He called you. Fortunately, you didn't invest, Xiao Fang said. At this time, if lenders withdraw cash intensively, it will be like a bank. A run is when their risk is highest. Their company is upstairs across the street. You can see it from here. You'll know if you go over and take a look, Zhang Chen said. Yes, that's why I came and asked you to accompany me to take a look, Xiao Fang said. I won't go. When Zhang Chen heard this, he quickly waved his hands and refused. I finally got rid of Mr. Huang. I went there today and he saw him and grabbed me. Didn't I come to him and die myself? Xiao Fang giggled and said, okay, I know you are thin-skinned, forget it, I'll let you go. Xiao Fang stood up as she spoke, and Zhang Chen asked, what are you going to do? Go over and have a look. I asked Zhao Zheng to accompany me. It was originally an account opened in her name, Xiao Fang said, and walked out. Zhang Chen also stood up, walked to the window, and looked curiously at the 3 office buildings opposite splendid Jiangnan. After looking at it for a while, he felt that what Xiao Fang said might be right. On a rainy day, it was gloomy outside. He saw that the windows of Mr. Wang's company were completely dark, with no lights on. Look at Chu Tianlin's company again. The lights are bright and there are people walking around inside. This is what a normal company looks like. Zhang Chen naturally turned his attention to Lao Ni's old company. Now he no longer knew which company was here. He saw that this company, including Lao Ni's original office windows, were also brightly lit. Zhang Chen was heartbroken. I thought that the people sitting in Lao Ni's original office must not know who was sitting here where he was sitting. The person sitting here had made a huge splash to become a nationally famous figure, and then quickly vanished into ashes. The Jiangnan Canal flows continuously day and night. The rain falls on the water surface and soon disappears. Zhang Chen feels that Lao Ni is really like the pattering rainwater. He is very cool when it is in the air and falls on the water surface. It disappeared. The Jiangnan Canal flows continuously like this, and Lao Ni's figure that once fell on it has no idea where it was taken. There was also Lu Ligan. Zhang Chen remembered that night, when he and Lu Ligan were standing on the Zongbei Bridge. Lu Ligan pointed to the low houses in the Hangcheng Spring Factory and told him excitedly that he wanted to be here. What happens when a tall building is erected? Today, the building is still there, but the high-rise building and the people who were once in this high-rise building have gone to the sky and the other to the depths of the clouds. Will Mr. Huang and Mr. Qin have a better ending? Zhang Chen shook his head. More than half an hour later, Xiao Fang and Zhao Zheng came back. Zhang Chen asked, it's over. The building is empty, right? Xiao Fang asked curiously, how do you know? Zhang Chen pointed out the window and said, you can see it from here, even the lights are not turned on. You are right to go, the building is not empty, Xiao Fang said, the door is locked, the corridor at the door is full of people, and even the police are here. Are they all investors who can't withdraw money? Zhang Chen asked. Xiao Fang nodded, that friend of yours, Mr. Huang, has probably run away. Zhang Chen's mind immediately flashed back to the day when Mr. Huang came to his office and told him with joy that this was the first birthday he had publicly celebrated for his son. He did not expect that it would probably be the last birthday. That little fat man, how is he doing now? The 1 meter 2 meter high, 15-layer cake will definitely become the best memory of his childhood and adolescence. And Mr. Fang, the mahjong-faced man, has always been chasing others for debts in a ferocious manner. Now he is probably being chased for debts by others, right? Will he still be so aggressive when others are chasing him for debt? The most pity is Mr. Huang. Zhang Chen should say that he has always had a good impression of him. With his IQ, if he can do something down to earth, he will definitely be able to achieve results. Of course, even if he is running away now, he will definitely know how to run more thoroughly than others. Zhang Chen sighed. Why are you sighing? Xiao Fang asked. Zhang Chen shook his head and said it was nothing. Xiao Fang sighed, and Zhang Chen asked, why are you sighing again? I'm afraid it's just the beginning. There will be a chain reaction next. This day will come faster than I expected, Xiao Fang said. Then do we need to withdraw all the money from the platform? Zhao Zheng asked. Xiao Fang said no, just mention it 1,000 times a day, and I will see how fast the series of thunder will come. Thank you to the passers-by Ye Buzan, LM533681112, Hu, Nevin Moore, Lin Bugswea, Cai Ili, and Tianzong Hong for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1874. After the Spring Festival, the temperature begins to get warmer, and everything in the world is recovering. However, for some internet financial platforms, it has begun to enter the harsh winter, and problems have arisen one after another. In addition to Mr. Huang and his 88 finance, which have been completely cooled down, the Hangzhou police have begun to investigate and conduct an online pursuit of Mr. Qin, Mr. Huang, and the mahjong-faced Mr. Fang. Xiao Fang has also invested in the capital chain of the two platforms has also been broken, and the platforms have been unable to withdraw cash. It's just that at this time, in the media, there are still endless boasts about internet finance and various pie-making stories. Who said that the internet has memory? The internet also makes many things fleeting. An online loan platform collapsed. At the same time, dozens or hundreds of online lending platforms are emerging, attracting more funds from the whole society and being swept into this black hole like whirlpool. It's not that there are no whistleblowers, it's that the world is too noisy and whistles are simply impossible to be heard by other people. Xiao Fang was worried because of this, and Zhang Chen asked her with a smile, are you worried about your money, or are you worried about these platforms? Of course it's a platform, Xiao Fang said, the money is just a little bit, but I'm ready to pay tuition from the beginning. Zhang Chen laughed, you are really worried about the ancients. Xiao Fang said, Tisk, the ancients are none of my business. I'm worried about the current situation. If something goes wrong, something big will happen. The peaceful singing and dancing that is whitewashed every day can't cover up what's underneath, which is rotting away day by day. The draft for comments has never been released. Although Xiao Fang has long predicted that it will probably be outdated the day it comes out, she still hopes that it will be released as soon as possible. It is better than nothing. It can at least serve as a wake-up call for everyone. The current almost manic investment craze in national internet finance should be poured some cold water on. But even such a thing came too late, and Xiao Fang couldn't figure out the specific reason. Xiao Fang's mood is also contradictory. She knows that the crisis will spread very quickly, because almost all borrowers borrow money from different platforms, and today's investors also believe in those well-dressed investment experts. Nonsense, saying don't put all your eggs in one basket, they will also invest in different platforms. In this way, borrowers and investors connect the formerly independent platforms into a closely knit network. When one platform is in crisis, the crisis will quickly spread to many other platforms, just like what happened in previous years. Private small and medium-sized enterprises jointly guarantee loans, and a large amount of them fell down. There are already investors like her who have suffered losses, and there are platforms that are falling like dominoes. Xiaofang hopes to expose this true situation, but is afraid to expose it. Xiaofang has already written an article. I know that her article will definitely attract everyone's attention. Even if it is deleted instantly, this article will stubbornly spread on the internet. There will always be people who will see it and quickly save and forward it in the short moment of its existence. Xiaofang firmly believes in this, but when her finger fell on the touch screen and she was about to click upload, she hesitated and ultimately did not send it. What she is most worried about is that when this article wakes everyone up and reveals the current situation of the entire online lending platform, it is likely to be counterproductive. Not only will it not promote the solution of the problem, but it will only accelerate the decline of more online lending platforms. Thunder burst out faster. The reason is very simple, because the credit reporting system of the entire online loan platform has not been established. For those who have borrowed money on different platforms, the cost of breaking their trust is zero. Once they know that this industry is about to collapse, they will not be able to repay the loan. Their desire is even lower, and they even intentionally default on repayment. For them, waiting for the platform to close down is the best opportunity to escape debt. At the same time, we must also be wary of those platforms that have lost confidence in this industry and simply take away customers' funds. What is the use of so-called third-party custody? There are a lot of ID cards and debit cards sold online. They can completely create many fictitious borrowers and transfer the customer's funds to the accounts of these borrowers, but actually it goes into their own pockets. There are also some platforms that will definitely step up their collection efforts when they feel a storm is coming. However, for them, there are too few normal and legal collection methods, and they will inevitably use black or gray methods, which will accelerate the decline of this industry. Gangsterization. In the end, they are the easiest to find and the group with the least ability to protect themselves. Xiaofang can imagine it with the back of her head. They must be those students in school. If that were the case, it would not be a financial problem, but a social problem. Xiaofang turned on her mobile phone and clicked on an app called Ronghui Finance. This platform is in Shanghai. After Xiaofang started withdrawing money years ago, it became abnormal. It was not that there was no way to withdraw money, but the money was received every day. The amount was scattered, with the highest being more than 100 a day and the lowest being as low as 9.35 cents. It can be seen that they are still struggling to support it, but there are already problems with the capital chain. They are still sending money to investors every day. This is giving investors peace of mind, showing that they have not gone bankrupt. The website is still operating normally, and business seems to be continuing. Xiaofang knows that they are still trying to attract other investors. Xiaofang did not expect that this platform would have problems so soon. She had seen their investor relations map. Among the investors of this company, there were a domestic private insurance company, 2 large private companies, and even the figure of Temasek. It stands to reason that they have experience in the industry. Compared with other platforms, they can at least do better risk control. I didn't expect that they are also such a piece of cake. Of course, it is also possible that his investor relations map is fake. Xiaofang decided to target this platform and dig deeper. She first learned through her own relationships that the investor relations map was true. Temasek and the insurance company did invest in this platform. If these two were true, then the 2 large private companies did not. It must be fictional. Furthermore, Xiaofang also learned that the platform's current capital chain has not been broken, and the company's operations are still normal. This company is also in Pudong, in an office building next to the Aurora building. Xiaofang called the company and asked someone to come over and take a look. Someone from the company called back and said that everything looked normal. There was no scene like what Xiaofang saw in splendid Jiangnan, where the corridors were crowded with debt collectors and even the police were dispatched. Since everything is normal, why are investors unable to withdraw money normally? Xiaofang thought about it for a long time, but couldn't figure it out. The only explanation was that normality was just a manifestation, and abnormality was quietly happening. This situation lasted for more than a month. Xiaofang calculated that although money came in every day, the total in a month was only more than 900 yuan. In other words, at this rate, if she wanted to spend all the principal and interest of 50,000 yuan, it will take more than 5 years to complete, and we have to be careful that it will suddenly be interrupted one day without a single point. This situation happened more than a week later. Xiaofang opened the Ronghui Finance app that day and logged into her account. She found that there was not a penny in the account. When Xiaofang called the customer service number, the phone number was the busy signal was probably from investors like her calling to inquire, or maybe they just put the phone aside. It wasn't until around 8 o'clock in the evening that the call finally got through, but it was beeping and no one answered. It must be that the customer service staff had already gone off work. Xiaofang called again the next day, but the signal was still busy. She clicked on the online customer service, and a message popped up saying that if you have any questions, please leave a message and they would handle it as soon as possible. Xiaofang left a message, but there was no reply. At about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Xiaofang was about to ask people from the company to go over and take a look. There was a text message coming from Ronghui Finance. Xiaofang clicked on it and it was a letter of apology. The apology letter was sincere. It first apologized for the inconvenience caused to investors, and then said that the company currently has insufficient liquidity due to a large number of bad debts, but they are trying to solve this problem and hope investors will be patient. I believe they will definitely solve the current difficulties. Xiaofang had just finished reading this apology letter, and then the second one came, saying that they learned that some investors were eager to recover the funds they lent, and after discussing with the company's shareholders, they decided to their shareholders' own funds are used to meet the needs of this part of investors. However, I'm sorry, they can only meet the principal part, and they have no way to bear the interest part. They give investors two options. One is to choose to give up the interest part and only recover the principal. For these investors, they will give priority to arrangements. Funding, of course, if you insist on a total of principal and interest, you can do it, but it will take time and you need to wait for their arrangements. If you choose to give up the interest part, please reply with the 6 words "agree to give up interest" text message. If you insist on wanting the total of principal and interest, please reply "agree to continue waiting." Xiaofang looked at this text message and couldn't help but laugh. The trick is really deep. No matter how you reply to this text message, you will always lose money. If you reply "agree to give up interest," it is equivalent to agreeing to only get back your principal. It's so long. Time and your money are just wasted for them. If you reply "agree to continue waiting," it will be even more terrible. Your money will be gone, because when they say waiting, there is no agreed time. You can wait 3 days, you can wait 3 years, you can wait 30 years and 300. It can last for years. As long as you reply "agree to continue waiting," you won't even be able to find them. You will have to wait for your children and grandchildren. This also means that you have given up your right to pursue a lawsuit. Even if you go to court, the court will not be able to order the other party to give a final repayment date, because you have not agreed on a repayment date in advance, and your "agree continue to wait" is equivalent to changing the original contract agreement. Xiaofang shook her head and laughed, "Okay, I'll see how you continue to play." Xiaofang replied "agree to give up interest." The next day, the trickle of water began to flow again, and Xiaofang received 61 yuan and 5 cents. Then there was a ding-dong-dang sound. Every day, the sound of change coming in was heard in the account. "Thank you, Tin Soldier," quadratic VC, two fishes one above the bottom, third from top to bottom, reading books every day, and giving rewards at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you Xiaohu Suanza, Wahaji, Fuyingguang, Pio Ziofen, Wuying Jiao, specially designed for Cao Xiaoman, Captain Jim, Hu Sansi, Kingbo, Lao Chantang, Wuzi, Robin Granite, Book Friends 201712072232111524, Cai Yili, Qingjing Wuvi 2012, Zhao 1017, Snacks, monthly tickets are really annoying. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1875. Xiangnan's new play Male a Female Free was scheduled. It was originally supposed to premiere at the Yongcheng Central Theater during the Spring Festival. Unfortunately, Cao Minfang called Xiangnan and told her that we, the audience in Sanya, miss you. Especially you, Nanan, they all said. Yongcheng Wu Opera Troupe used to come to our hotel to perform every year, but why haven't they come in the past 2 years? Nanan, your performance left a deep impression on them. They all asked me, that little white lady, they all call you little white lady, and said that that little white lady has become a star now and looks down on us here. Already, Cao Minfang said. Xiangnan quickly said, no, no, Aunt Minfang, it's really because Yongcheng Center is under construction, there are too many things going on, and we can't leave, and there is also a street theater festival. The theater festival is not in July. What does it have to do with now? The Yongcheng Center has been built. Nanan, you always have time to come here now. Cao Minfang said, I don't care, I won't arrange any other theater troupes here during the Spring Festival this year. I'm just waiting for you. If you don't agree, I'll go to Mr. Zhang. He can't ignore the following customers' strong demands. No, no, Aunt Minfang. It's settled to call me Auntie, Nanan, Auntie, I miss you. Cao Minfang said and hung up the phone. Xiangnan didn't know whether to laugh or cry while holding the phone. She called Ding Yusong and Yin Tao over and told them the matter. Unexpectedly, they had never been to Sanya. When they heard about Sanya, they immediately became excited and shouted, Go, go, how could I not go to Sanya? Ding Yusong also said that no matter what, we must not forget our roots. I heard from Teacher Li, Teacher Su, and others that when our troupe was in the most difficult times, we relied on a few months of performances in Sanya to support the troupe. The spring reciprocates. Yes, Yin Tao kept nodding on the side. You guys want to travel to Sanya? What you say is better than what you sing, Xiangnan said. Ding Yusong and Yin Tao laughed wildly, and Yin Tao said, Sing, boss, I promise that when I get to Sanya, my singing will be better than my speaking. The matter has been settled like this. Now that we are going to Sanya, on the stage of Banmushan Hotel, it is only suitable for performing excerpts of the play. During the meal, will you recite the entire play by heart? Who will take such a long time to pay attention? Focusing on the stage, after a meal, no wine, no food, just watching the acting? There was no choice but to postpone the premiere of A Man A Woman Free. During the Spring Festival, Xiangnan took a group of young actors from the troupe to Sanya to perform Condolences, leaving the small theater in Yongcheng Center to Teacher Li and the others entertained themselves with a group of enthusiasts. Now, in Yongcheng, Yongcheng Wu Opera Troupe already has a large number of fans. The oldest of these fans is in his 80s and the youngest is only in his teens. There are several young fans. I heard that Yongcheng Wu Opera Troupe, if you want to perform in Sanya during the Spring Festival, you must go with them and pay for it at your own expense. Xiangnan and the others were in Sanya, and did not return until the 11th day of the first lunar month. After returning to Yongcheng, they immediately started rehearsing Boye, Female Free. On the 15th day of the first lunar month, Boye, Female Free was held in the center of Yongcheng. The premiere was held in a small theater and was a great success. After they performed in Yongcheng for 3 days, they then started a tour in Hangzhou, Shanghai, Suzhou, Nanjing, Hefei, Wuhu, Ningbo, Shaoxing and other places. This tour was sponsored by Splendid China, and every time they visited, the branches of Splendid China in these places are also responsible for reception. Xiangnan's tour was warmly welcomed by the audience in every city they arrived in. The first few shows were booked by Splendid China, and their customers and owners were invited to watch. The tickets were Splendid China, it was given as a gift, so the audience just came to join in the fun and didn't have any expectations. Finally, I sat down in the theater and watched it, only to realize that this Wu opera, which I had never seen before, turned out to be so good. Male of Female Free and the Yongcheng Wu opera troupe became famous in the local area and spread by word of mouth. I went to the theater to see what happened. In the next few days, their performances were so sold out that it was hard to get a ticket. This is the case in almost every city. As a result, they quickly became popular on the internet. Some people said that this was another opera performance that would attract so many young audiences after the conch opera A Dream in the Garden. By the time their performance in Suzhou ended and they arrived in Nanjing, the free tickets for Splendid China became hard to get. It can be said that everyone is eagerly looking forward to every city that follows, and some fans follow them from city to city. A Man and a Woman is a comedy that makes people laugh while watching it, but it is also the kind of comedy that makes people think deeply and even feel a little ashamed after laughing, because many viewers are attracted by this comedy. Everyone seemed to see their own shadow. Male A, Female Free became a unique cultural phenomenon in the spring of 2015 in the South. Soon, many other theater troupes came to contact Xiangnan and Laotuo, asking to adapt Male A, Female Free into their own drama. Next, there was the U opera version of Man A, Female Exemption, the Shanghai opera version of Male A, Female Exemption, the drama version of Man A, Female Exemption, Huangmei opera and Conch opera versions of Man A, Female Exemption, and even the Ningbo opera version. There is a drama version of A Man A Woman is Free, but it is recognized that the Wu opera version of A Man A Woman is Free is the best. In particular, Bai Fu-mei, played by Xiangnan, and Momo Girl played by Yin Tao, received wide acclaim. Xiaohu called Xiangnan and told her that the reputation of your play has been heard in Taiwan. Our foundation is ready to invite you to perform in Taiwan for the second time. No, it will be in Taiwan, Japan, and the United States. How about a local performance, Xiangnan? Why are there still Japan and the United States? Xiangnan asked. We have branches there. Inviting you to perform not only spreads Wu opera, but also gives back to our local customers, Xiaohu said. Xiangnan thought about it for a while, and she said, yes, I am willing to go to the United States and Japan to spread Wu opera. For specific matters, Xiaohu, please ask your foundation to arrange it with Ding Yusong. They have experience in cooperation. Because there is the Yongcheng International Street Theater Festival in July, Xiangnan and the others' performances in Japan, the United States and Taiwan must be arranged in the first half of the year. In this way, time is very tight. When spring arrives at Hongling Reservoir, there are more and more guests, and the mountains and downhills become lively. This quiet place shakes off the thin spring cold, as if waking up from a dream. At 9 o'clock in the morning, Lu Ligan was already a little drunk. He sat on the platform, looked at the water surface of the reservoir outside the window, and took a sip of hot rice wine. This wine was brewed by them themselves, jar by jar, on the terrace. There was a row at the foot of the wall. Qian walked out of the room and walked to Lu Ligan. Lu Ligan was sitting in a lounge chair, covered with a blanket. On the stool next to him, there was a solid alcohol stove. While drinking, Lu Ligan poured himself a glass of wine and drank. Qian tucked Lu Ligan's blanket, and Lu Ligan asked, "Would you like a bite?" "Go away, who is an alcoholic like you? You have to drink when you wake up in the morning," Qian cursed, and Lu Ligan laughed. Qian walked over and wanted to close the open window. Lu Ligan yelled, "Don't close it, so that the air will be fresh." Qian looked back at him, snorted, and didn't close it. From that night that year, after they found Lu Ligan in the middle of the reservoir, Lu Ligan began to fall in love with drinking. Wenwen and Qian were watching from the side, knowing that he was hiding something in his heart, and asked him. He always say it's okay. As time went by, Wenwen and Qian got used to it and no longer asked. If he liked to drink, just let him drink. Lu Ligan got up every day during the day, sat on the terrace, started drinking, and drank until at noon. He would go down and drink with Big Brain and the others. In the afternoon, he would wander around the Hongling Reservoir and the surrounding mountains. In the evening, he and Wenwen Qian would eat on the terrace together. At this time, Wenwen and Qian would also drink with him. Lu Ligan drinks like this every day, and his drinking capacity seems to be getting better and better. When he is not drunk, or in other words, every morning, he feels a little drunk when he touches wine, but he stays in this state all day long and does not get any worse. Being drunk will not make you sober. "Where's Wenwen?" Lu Lizan asked Qian. "Are you stupid? You didn't know she got up from bed in the middle of the night?" Qian asked. "Going to Guangzhou again?" Lu Ligan asked. "Where else are you going to find a wild husband?" Qian scolded, while Lu Ligan laughed. "Their chicken farm on the mountain raises more than 200,000 chickens. These chickens also lay eggs every day. The workers pick them up from the woods and grass. The number is also amazing. How can they digest this farmhouse, except in addition to selling some products online, the largest quantities are sent to major supermarkets in Guangzhou. They have their own special counters in major supermarkets in Guangzhou, which not only sell chickens and eggs, but also fish and shrimps from the reservoir, and more importantly, organic vegetables from the vegetable garden below. These organic vegetables are sold in Guangzhou, very popular and sold at a good price." Wenwen and Qian divided the work. Qian was responsible for the business on Doubao.com, and Wenwen was responsible for the business in Guangzhou. They set up a company in Guangzhou, and Wenwen and Lu Ligan went to negotiate for each supermarket. Yes, after the negotiation, Lu Ligan seldom went to Guangzhou again, but Wenwen often needed to go to Guangzhou with the delivery truck. This is what Lu Ligan said to her. Lu Ligan said, "Do you know why the former landlord did not work in the fields, but he had to sit in a sedan and wander in the fields every day?" "Why?" Wenwen asked. "This is to tell the tenant farmers that there are still adults at home," Lu Ligan said. Wenwen understood. She had nothing to do, so she often went to Guangzhou to visit the company and every supermarket to let the employees and salespersons know that there were still adults at home. Today, Master Wenwen went to Guangzhou again. Thank you to Tianzong Hong, Luo Wu Chen Yi Hua Yi Shi Shi, Hu Wu Si, Cai Ili, Wang Qingxi, and book friends 1502160133022826 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1876. At noon, Lu Ligan went to the employee cafeteria to have a drink with Big Brain and the others. Wu Rongui sat at the table next to him, eating alone and not joining them. Lu Ligan invited him to come over and have a drink. Wu Rongui shook his head. He said, don't drink, the computer room will be shut down for maintenance and inspection in the afternoon, so I have to keep an eye on it." Lu Ligan said that was good, there was finally someone who was sober. After saying that, he looked at his skull and cursed, "I'm so humming confused, why are you so stupid too?" The big head laughed ho ho. When he laughed, his thick neck and the flesh on his chest shook together, and the laughter seemed to be thrown out. It's okay, it's okay. I'm doing rough work anyway, so I can't make mistakes. Idiot Wu is here for the fine work, so what are you afraid of? Everyone at the table laughed. Wu Rongui used his fingers to pull down the frame of his glasses by an inch from the bridge of his nose. He squinted at the brain case from above the glasses and cursed. I can't see clearly, who is farting? Everyone laughed again. After Wu Rongui finished his meal, he stood up, holding 2 empty bowls stacked together in one hand. When he passed by their table, he reached out and took away the half-pack of cigarettes in front of the big head. The big brain shouted, Hey, silly Wu, when did you learn to smoke? Wu Rongui put the cigarette into his pocket and said, I don't smoke. I will smoke it for the workers in the afternoon. After he finished speaking, he left. Everyone looked at Big Brain with great joy. Big Brain tilted his head and said Tisk. This scholar really can't afford to offend. When they are going to be bad, they are worse than anyone else. Did you see that they took my cigarettes to win people's hearts? When Big Brain was talking, he was craving for cigarettes. He looked around the table. The people who were drinking together all smiled and put their own cigarettes on the table into their pockets. Only Lu Ligan's was still there. Big Brain he reached out to pick up Lu Ligan's cigarette, but Lu Ligan slapped his hand with chopsticks and cursed. 1 glass of wine and 1 cigarette. Drink the wine first. The big head smiled ho ho, picked up the cup, and drank the wine in 1 gulp. The remaining wine leaked from his chin and dripped onto the clothes wrapped around his big belly. Everyone was sitting there, bragging and drinking. Seeing that there were still 10 minutes before the afternoon work time, it ended. Everyone stood up and walked outside, leaving the tables for the canteen staff to clean up. Braincase and the others walked to the office. Lu Ligan burped alone and walked through the shade of trees in front of him towards the dam of the reservoir. The sun was shining brightly outside, and some tourists sat on the grassy embankment slopes to bask in the sun. Lu Ligan also found a place to lie down. The sun was too dazzling. He covered his eyes with one arm, thinking that when he came tomorrow, he should bring a newspaper with him. Lying here is more comfortable than lying on the terrace. The glass roof of the terrace is covered with withered grapevines. Although green buds have just sprouted on the withered vines, they will not completely block the sun. It's all in pieces, so it's better to bask in the sun here. After just a while, your whole body will feel warm and lazy. In addition to drinking again just now, Lu Ligan fell asleep quickly. In March, the wind was still a bit cold. When the sun began to tilt to one side, the wind on the water began to get stronger. This side of the embankment was facing the wind. Lu Ligan woke up from the cold. He sat down. He got up and looked at his watch. It was already past 3 o'clock. He had slept for 2 hours. Although the sun still shrouded his front and back, the light was already a little weak. Lu Ligan stood up, patted the grass clippings on his butt with his hands, and walked to the top of the embankment. He remembered that at noon, Wu Rongui said that the machine room below would be shut down for maintenance and inspection in the afternoon, so he took the escalator down to the bottom of the dam outside. He walked into the power generation workshop and saw that the workers who used to work in the 3rd shift had all come to work at this time. Everyone was busy around the water turbine generator. Wu Rongui changed into blue work clothes and saw Lu when the pole came over. He didn't have time to talk to him. He just raised the wrench in his hand and gestured as a greeting. Lu Ligan looked there for a while and asked how long it would take. Wu Rongui told him that today was a major inspection and he would probably be busy until 11 or 2 o'clock in the evening. I'll ask the restaurant to arrange a private room for you, and you can go up there for supper when you're done, Lu Ligan said. The workers all laughed, and Wu Rongui scolded, "Why are you laughing? I feel happy when I hear about eating. Work hard for me. If you don't do your job well, I will let you suffer from the northwest wind." A worker retorted, Mr. Wu, I just want to eat it, but it's not available this season. Mr. Wu can personally put one for you to eat. You can have whatever you want. Another worker said that everyone was amused and Wu Rongui also laughed. Lu Ligan came out of the workshop and walked out of the gate. He saw someone watering vegetables in the vegetable garden. Lu Ligan went over, took the long-handled manure spoon from a worker, and scooped out the manure diluted with water from the manure bucket. Water and manure are used to water vegetables. After pouring a load of water and manure, his hands were a little sore. He returned the manure scoop to the worker, stood and chatted with him, asked him to smoke a cigarette, and then left the vegetable garden. He returned to the top of the embankment. It was almost 5 o'clock. Lu Lizan stood there with his hands on his hips and looked around. The wind coming from the water blew on his face, which made him feel a bit cold. He didn't want to go back yet, so he decided to walk along the reservoir, went around in a circle. He walked in from the fish restaurant and walked to the rock climbing area. He met 2 workers carrying corn, and Lu Ligan followed them up the mountain. They went up the mountain to scatter corn into the woods. They scattered the corn into the grass and shrubs, and the chickens would find it themselves and eat it. This prompted the chickens to keep digging and moving on the mountain every day. It is said that the grown chicken tastes particularly delicious. While sowing corn, they were also collecting eggs on the mountain. Fortunately, chickens generally like to lay their eggs in their own nests. Most of the eggs are laid in the grass sheds they set up in the woods. Of course, there are also hens with more undisciplined personalities who will lay eggs very carefully. They are everywhere in the mountains and fields. Some eggs are already broken when you shake them with your hands when you find them. It was already getting dark, so Lu Ligan followed the workers collecting eggs down the mountain. On this mountain, there are more than 20 workers doing this kind of thing every day. Lu Ligan walked through the shade of the tree and saw a large number of people gathered in front of the big head's office. Wen Wen had returned from Guangzhou and was surrounded by people along with Qian Qian. Lu Ligan saw them. Instead of turning right and walking towards the small house, he walked towards the crowd. Someone saw Lu Ligan from a distance and shouted, "Get out of the way, Dad is coming." Everyone turned around and laughed when they saw Lu Ligan. Lu Ligan was puzzled by their laughter and had no idea what the guy was talking about. When he got closer, he was shocked again. He saw Wen Wen holding a baby. Smiling at him, Lu Ligan asked, "Did you buy this from Guangzhou?" "Go away, there are still children in Guangzhou who bought it," Wen Wen said. "I picked it up, I don't know who, and threw her at the door of the supermarket at night, and the security guard found her. When we arrived, no one knew how to pick it up. What to do about the child? Let me tell you, this child is particularly destined to me. She kept crying when I was holding her. When I held her, she stopped crying immediately. Haha, I relented at that time and said I wanted to take him home." "Do you want to make him a boy or a girl?" Lu Ligan asked. "Of course it's a girl. Who would be willing to throw away a boy? This kind of parents just throw away a girl and want to have a boy," someone nearby said. "That's how you brought this little girl back?" Lu Ligan asked. "What else can I do? The police are right next to me. They don't care. They just asked me to leave my address and phone number for them," Wen Wen said. "Those people in the supermarket are all talking for me." Lu Ligan could imagine that those people in the supermarket must have told the police that Wen Wen had no children and her conditions were good, so she would be very good to her children. However, the police turned a blind eye and let her. "If the child is taken away, don't notify the Civil Affairs Department. Let's go home." Qian Qian took the baby from Wen Wen's hand and shouted. Wen Wen said to Lu Ligan quite proudly, "I have been holding the child for a whole day, and my hands are sore. Please help me pick up the things." "What?" Lu Ligan asked. 2 people had already run back to the Guanbei's office and came out carrying several large vest bags. They shouted, "Dad, take it, Dad take it and hung the vest bags on Lulapole's hands. Take a look, the bag contains children's clothes, diapers, talcum powder, baby bottles, BB oil, milk powder and nutritious rice noodles. Another person came out with a child's plastic bathtub. Seeing that Luligan's hand was empty, he simply put the waist-shaped bathtub as a hat on Luligan's head. Everyone laughed. Stand up. The three of them just left and walked to the door. When they were about to enter, Wen took off the bathtub on the head of Luli's pole. The three of them arrived upstairs. The waiter had already brought their dinner to them and set it on the table. However, Wen and Qian couldn't take care of their dinner. They shouted that they wanted to give the child a bath, perfume it, and dress up. Beautiful. When they opened the swaddling clothes on the baby, 200 yuan folded fell out. Wen and Qian stared at the money. Wen's eyes turned red and she said, "What a beautiful child, what parent would be willing to throw her away?" Luligan quickly comforted her and said, "It might be a good thing for the child. You think, if you follow such cruel parents, this child will have to suffer a lot in this life." When Luligan said this, both Wen and Qian became happy. Wen said, yes, we will definitely be good to her, and you will too, right? Of course, Luligan said. The three of them had never bathed a child before. They were in a hurry and the child was crying. They finally dried her body and changed her clothes. She was indeed fragrant and beautiful, but she still kept crying. The three of them took turns holding each other in their hands, changing positions and shaking, but it was no use. Wen was surprised, and she said, "Why is she so good at crying? She doesn't cry when I hug her. Why is it not working?" Luligan remembered it and shouted, "I must be hungry." When Wen and Qian heard this, they suddenly realized. Qian quickly poured milk powder into the bottle, then went to the water dispenser to add some hot water, and shook the bottle over. Luligan cursed. "Idiot, it's so hot. Do you want to burn her to death?" Qian was in a good mood for the first time. Instead of scolding her, she went back to the water dispenser and added cold water. "Eyelids are the most sensitive. You can put it on your eyelids and see if it burns you," Luligan shouted. Qian put the bottle on her eyelids and tried it. It felt a little hot. She added cold water and tried again. It felt almost done. She shook the bottle and walked back. She handed the bottle to Wen. The pacifier just touched her lips. The baby just took it in his mouth and started sucking. It looked like he was starving. Wen and Qian both laughed. Qian then remembered. She stared at Luligan and cursed. You, let me test it with my eyelids, are you trying to burn off all my eyelashes?" Luligan scolded, "You are already a mother, why are you wearing false eyelashes?" Qian was stunned for a moment, then laughed. Thank you to Quadratic VC and Jingshen for the reward of ranking third from top to bottom at around 3 o'clock in the middle of the night and 2 fishes one above the other. Thank you to Tianying 1978, Humor Tribe, Book Friends 20210630183857013, Su Yuinian, Cai and Jiying Qian for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1877. Half of the bottle of milk was finished quickly, but the little guy had an empty pacifier in his mouth and was still sucking. As soon as Wen took the pacifier out of her mouth, she became anxious and wanted to cry. Wen had no choice but to stuff it back again. Maybe it was because he cried for too long and was too energy consuming. After eating, A short while later, the little guy fell asleep, and the pacifier in his mouth finally fell out, and Ween Wen could take the bottle away. Chien took a blanket and spread it on the sofa. Ween Wen put the little one on the blanket and covered her with a small quilt so that she could sleep well. After all this work, the three of them felt hungry and started to eat. Although the food was already cold, they looked at the little guy sleeping sweetly next to them and ate with gusto. Immediately, they remembered that they should give the little one a name. Lu Ligan thought for a while and said, "There is a good name already. Since she was picked up, we will call her Shide." "What do you mean?" Ween Wen asked. Lu Ligan dipped his finger into the wine and wrote the word Shide on the table. Lu Ligan explained to them, "Shide means to pick up, to get." These two words look ordinary and sound easy to pronounce. In fact, they are very elegant and interesting. Shide, Shide, how nice it sounds. By the way, this Shide, and there is an illusion. "What illusion?" Chien asked. During the Tang dynasty, an eminent monk from the Qiuqing temple in Tiantai, Zhejiang, picked up a child on the mountain road and named him Shide. When the child grew up, when he was 12 or 13 years old, the boss of the temple let him be the chief secretary of the temple, in charge of the canteen, lamp oil, incense, and other things. There is a local child about the same age as him, named Hans Han. Han's family was very poor and they didn't even have food to eat. Shida packed the leftovers in the cafeteria in bamboo tubes every day and asked him to take them back to eat. Later Han Shan also became a monk at Qiuqing temple, and he worked in the same unit as Shida. Later, two people came to Suzhou from Tiantai mountain and worked as abbots in a temple. This temple was later renamed Hans Han Temple. Have you heard of the poem, Hans Han Temple outside Gusu City, the bells ring at midnight to the passenger ship? It was written about this temple. Go away, what a bad name, what a monk, give such a beautiful little girl a monk's name, do you want to die? Chien scolded, and Ween Wen also laughed. You illiterate, do you think you are an ordinary monk? Lu Ligan became anxious and cursed. Hans Han and Shide are said to be the reincarnations of Manjusri and Samantabhadra. Do you know Yongzheng, the Yongzheng emperor played by Tang Qiuqiang? You know, he conferred Hans Han as the Hessian and Shide as the Hessian. Hans Han Shide is the two immortals of He. Do you think he is an ordinary person? Also, it is recorded in the book Hans Han Wen Shide that one day Hans Han asked Shide, how do I deal with the world that slanders me, bullies me, insults me, laughs at me, despises me, hates me, and deceives me? I asked Shide what to do, and Shide answered him, just tolerate him, let him go, avoid him, be patient with him, respect him, ignore him, stay for a few more years and see what he is. Listen, how high is this realm? Go away, even if it is given to 100 gods, we don't want it. If you give her a monk's name, do you want her to grow up to be a nun? No, we want to pick up handsome boys when we grow up. Chien. The scolding made Ween Wen and Lu Ligan both laugh. Ween Wen said on the side, I don't think it's good either. Everyone keeps calling hers Hideo Shide. When she becomes sensible, she will know that she was picked up when she heard it. How bad is that? Why can't she be unable to hold her head up for the rest of her life? The only way to scold others is to scold them for being picked up. How can you say that you are picked up? That's right, Chien said. By the way, let's decide on her surname first. If you are her father, she will follow your surname of Lu. Ween Wen and Lu Ligan said. Chien nodded. Lu Ligan agreed, yes, and we have a name, then she will be called Lu Wenqian, with the character Wen and the character Chien. Before Lu Ligan finished speaking, Ween Wen and Chien both cheered. One name included 3 people, a father and 2 mothers, which was great. What about your nickname? Ween Wen asked. What nickname? My nickname is Wenqian, and my nickname is Lu Wenqian. I have them all, Lu Ligan said. Ween Wen and Qian Qian immediately lay down next to Lu Wenqian, shouting Wenqian, Wenqian. Lu Wenqian was too lazy to pay attention to them because she was asleep. After the three of them finished eating, took a shower, and prepared to go to bed, Qian Qian and Lu Ligan said, "Go away, you are going to be an old man today. You will go to sleep alone, and Wenqian will sleep with the two of us." They put Wen Qian in the middle, and they slept on one side. Lu Ligan had no choice but to go to the next room to sleep. As soon as he lay down, the child over there started crying, and Qian Qian shouted, "Daddy, Daddy, I'm hungry." Lu Ligan got out of the bed, went to make some milk powder, and gave it to Lu Wenqian to eat. Lu Wenqian stopped eating after 2 mouthfuls and spat out the milk with a puff, and then wailed loudly. Lu Ligan had no choice but to give it to Lu Wenqian. Even after being able to take her out of bed, wrap her in a quilt and hold her in her arms, Wen Qian still kept crying. Qian Qian yawned and said, okay, I'm so sleepy. Dad, can you take her outside to cry?" Lu Ligan held her and went to the living room outside. Wen Qian still kept crying. Lu Ligan held her and walked to the terrace outside. She stopped crying immediately, but Lu Ligan carried her back to the living room. She immediately started crying again, and Lu Ligan had no choice but to hold her and walk in circles on the terrace. Unfortunately, he got up too quickly and was already shivering from the cold while walking on the terrace in a single shirt and pants. I don't know how long she wandered around, but finally fell asleep. Lu Ligan carried her back and walked into Ween Wen and Qian Qian's room. He pressed his knee against Ween Wen. Ween Wen opened her eyes in a daze. "Sit up and make room for Wen Qian." Lu Ligan's hand was as frozen as ice. When he put Wen Qian down, his hand accidentally touched Qian Qian. Qian Qian woke up with an ouch, and when she screamed, Wen Qian also woke up. "Continue to cry loudly." Qian Qian beat the bed with her hands and said with a sad face, "Dad, take her to sleep with you. I have to take orders during the day." Okay. Lu Ligan hugged Wen Qian and went back to the next room. Wen Qian kept crying and couldn't put her on the bed. Lu Ligan could only put her on the bed for a while. He took out a down coat from the cabinet and put it on. Then she picked up Wen Qian and went out, walked through the living room, and walked to the terrace outside. Wen Qian immediately stopped crying and looked at Lu Ligan with her eyes open in the darkness. Lu Ligan could only hold her in his arms and walk around on the terrace. He waited until she fell asleep and then hugged her back. He didn't dare to go back to the room yet, so he only dared to hold her gently on the sofa in the living room. After sitting down for less than 5 minutes, Wen Qian started crying again. Lu Ligan could only stand up again and walked outside to the terrace. This happened over and over again, and I don't know how long it took. Ween Wen was in the room and heard it vaguely. She got up and walked to the living room. She saw that Lu Ligan was exhausted from being tortured by this little guy. Ween Wen walked over and said to Lu Ligan, "I'll hold you for a while, and you can take a rest." Lu Ligan gave her the child. Sure enough, Wen Qian stopped crying without going out to the terrace, but she couldn't sit down. Ween Wen had to hold her and rock her while walking in the living room. As long as she stopped, she would burst into tears. Ween Wen sniffed and asked Lu Ligan, "Did she have diarrhea?" Lu Ligan came closer to smell it and said, "It seems so." The two people put Wen Qian on the coffee table, opened the quilt, and uncovered the diaper. It was already a mess inside, filled with feces and urine, and her buttocks were already red and swollen. The two people quickly washed her buttocks and changed her diaper. Wet, this little guy just kept crying. After changing, she was still crying. Ween Wen asked, "Are you hungry?" Lu Ligan said, "Maybe." Then he went to make milk powder for her again, and stuffed the pacifier into Wen Qian's mouth. This time she was really hungry, and she started sucking. Ween Wen hugged her and sat down on the sofa. Lu Ligan also sat down. Finally I can take a break. But the good times didn't last long. After finishing the milk, the little one continued to cry. Qian also came out of the room, taking turns with Wenwen and Lu Lepole to carry her around the living room without sitting down. Lu Ligan thought about it and said, I'm going to make a big move. Lu Ligan took out a stack of A4 paper and markers. Wenwen and Qian didn't know what he was going to do. Lu Ligan started writing hard on the table. Wenwen and Qian went over to take a look and laughed. They saw what Lu Ligan wrote. Emperor of Heaven, Emperor of Earth, there is a night cry man in my family. A gentleman passing by will recite it 3 times and sleep until dawn. Lu Ligan looked at them and cursed, laughter, it's very effective. When I was a child, my mother used to stick it on the street. Your mother went to post it? Do you still know? Wenwen asked. You told me about it later, Lu Ligan said. Lu Ligan wrote more than a dozen sheets at once, took it in his hand, and found a bottle of glue. He said to Wenwen Qian. Just hold on a little longer. Wenwen was surprised and asked, what do you want to do? Go and post it, Lu Ligan said. Wenwen and Qian laughed, and Qian cursed, it's more than 3 o'clock in the middle of the night, and you just posted it, who can see it? I have a way, Lu Ligan said. Lu Ligan took the stack of papers and went out. He walked to the door of the fish restaurant and posted one. Then he walked to the hotel and posted one at the door. When he entered the lobby, he saw the security and front desk waiters were there. After taking a nap, Lu Ligan woke them up and asked each of them to look at the paper and read Emperor of Heaven, Emperor of Earth. After walking out of the hotel, he thought about it. There were still people working in the generator room below. Lu Ligan went to the bottom of the embankment again. The escalator had stopped. He climbed down step by step. When he arrived at the power generation workshop, he asked the worker on duty to read the paper 3 times. Then he went to the duty room at the gate, woke up the security guard who was sleeping on the table, and asked him to read it 3 times. On the way back, Lu Ligan stuck the paper in his hand on the tree in the parking lot all the way. When he reached the bottom of the steps, Lu Ligan felt exhausted. He stood and took a deep breath before climbing up step by step. Thank you Galantway, Cailii, Book Friends 201911152042154745, Traveler Ye Buzan, Shachin Mood, Lu Sandeo, Seeing No Future but Remembering the Original Intention, Hoo, Forever in the White Day X, Mao's Monthly Ticket. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1878. Lu Ligan walked through the woods, and before he reached the small building, he heard Lu Wenkin's howling in the distance, and Lu Ligan's scalp tightened. Emperor of Heaven, Emperor of Earth, this night crying man in my family. Lu Ligan walked a few steps and went upstairs. He saw Lu Wenkin being placed on the sofa. Wenwen and Qian were sitting on both sides, leaning on the armrests of the sofa on their respective sides, falling asleep. They were both exhausted. Lu Ligan walked over. Although he climbed up one step at a time from the bottom of the embankment, and he was almost falling down from exhaustion, he still picked up Lu Wenkin and swayed up and down in the living room. The child cried. Her voice became softer, but she still kept crying. Wenwen woke up in a daze and sat up straight. Lu Ligan said, I've asked several people to read it 3 times, but it's no use. It's no use, we are holding her and we are almost walking from here to Ningyuan County, Qian muttered without even opening her eyelids and not even bothering to change her posture. Wenwen looked straight at Lu Ligan and said, You can say hey to her, maybe it will work. When Lu Ligan heard this, he really hugged Lu Wenkin, bent down, arched his back, staggered step by step, and sang. Hey, hey 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 slash work together to pull the fibers slash he hey hey, hey 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 slash after pulling one handful after another slash through the dense birch forest slash take the uneven road in the world. Lu Wenqin really stopped crying. Qian sat up and shouted. Continue, continue, you can take us from here to Ningyuan County. You want to tire me out, Lu Ligan glared at her and cursed. Lu Wenqin cried wow. Lu Ligan quickly raised his voice a few times, and continued hey hey hey. Lu Wenqin stopped crying. Wenwen and Qian laughed wildly. No matter how sleepy they were also I woke up laughing. Qian said, haha, I understand, we Wenqin were sent by God to collect you. Yes, 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 I surrender, Lu Ligan said, and then quickly continued hey, 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 hey. If he didn't say hey, he was afraid that the child would start crying again. Wenwen and Qian were sitting cross-legged on the sofa. Wenwen said, I think your he is more effective than the Emperor of Heaven and the Emperor of Earth. That's right, Qian said. Shush. Lu Ligan looked at Lu Wenqin in his arms, shushed, and said to them with his mouth opening and closing, I'm about to fall asleep. When Wenwen and Qian heard this, they quickly shut up. Lu Ligan continued to say hey hey hey, and his voice gradually became softer. After turning around for a few more times, Lu Ligan saw that Lu Wenqin had fallen asleep. He straightened up and stood. After a while, Lu Wenqin still didn't respond. Lu Ligan was relieved. He walked lightly and tiptoed towards the sofa. Walking away, Wenwen and Qian quickly moved to both sides to make room for Lu Ligan. Wenwen lowered her voice and said to Lu Ligan, be gentle, be gentle. Qian lowered her voice and said, slow down, slow down. Lu Ligan walked to the sofa and turned around. He did not dare to move too much and sat down all at once. Instead, like in slow motion, he bent his legs little by little and squatted down until his butt finally touched the sofa. Lu Ligan let out a long breath. He looked at Wenwen and Qian on the left and right, and both of them laughed softly. Wenwen leaned over and laid her head on Lu Ligan's shoulder. She looked at Lu Wenqin in his arms and followed. Qian his head also leaned over. The world is finally at peace. With a wow sound, Lu Wenqin burst into tears, which scared them all and almost jumped up from the sofa. Qian slapped the armrest of the sofa with her hands and shouted ouch, she was about to cry too. Qian said, I know why her parents abandoned her. Wenwen said, will it happen again? Lu Ligan quickly stood up, turned around and put her on the sofa, removed the outer quilt, then uncovered the diaper, which was clean inside, and wrapped it around her again. Wenwen said, are you hungry again? Lu Ligan picked up the milk bottle on the coffee table and made milk powder for her. Wenwen put the pacifier into Lu Wenqin's mouth, and Lu Wenqin spat it out. Lu Ligan got excited and said, I understand, how can I sleep just by biting such a fake? Qian, please feed her quickly. Go away, Qian said. She's not hungry. Have you ever seen that children like to hook their mother's fingers? She can't hook her fingers yet. If you let her hold her fingers, she won't be lonely and scared anymore, Lu Ligan explained. I'll do it, Wenwen said, unbuttoning her clothes, carrying Lu Wenqin over, exposing her breasts, and moving them towards the child's mouth. Lu Wenqin took it in her mouth and said squeak, squeak, squeak twice. She didn't suck anything, but she still sucked it. He continued to hold it in his mouth and became quiet. It was almost dawn outside, and the chickens on the mountains began to crow one after another. The mountains on both sides were still echoing, like folk songs. Lu Wenqin had really fallen asleep. No matter how noisy she was, she would be exhausted. All done. Wenwen stood up and carried Lu Wenqin into the room. Lu Ligan and Qian helped her take off her outer clothes and pants. Wenwen hugged Lu Wenqin and lay down on the bed together. Qian also got into the bed on the other side. Lu Ligan walked back to the next room, fell on the bed and fell asleep without even taking off his downcoat. It was already past 10 o'clock when Lu Ligan woke up. He strained his ears and listened carefully. He couldn't believe his ears. It was quiet outside and the imaginary cry did not appear. He stood up and walked out. Were surprised to find that Wen Wen and Qian were both wearing nightgowns. Qian was sitting in front of the computer busy, and Wen Wen was holding Lu Wenqian in her hands, standing behind Qian and watching. Lu Ligan walked over and saw the child in Wen Wen's hand was quiet. He saw Lu Ligan and smiled at him. "I'll go." "Has the emperor appeared?" Lu Ligan asked. "Shit, she stopped crying during the day. We haven't woken up yet." "She woke up alone and ate her own fingers without crying," Qian said. "It's true," Wen Wen said, "I don't cry when I do anything. Even when I change her diaper, she doesn't cry." Wen Wen looked at Lu Ligan and saw that he was still wearing a downcoat. She asked him what he was doing and wanted to go out. "Ghost, I fell on the bed and fell asleep like that. I didn't even take off my clothes," Lu Ligan said. "You haven't brushed your teeth, have you? No wonder it smells so bad. Get out of here," Qian scolded. Lu Ligan went to the bathroom, brushed his teeth, washed his face, changed his clothes and came out. He sat down on the sofa and wanted to smoke a cigarette, but found that the cigarettes and lighter placed under the coffee table were missing. Not only that, even the ashtray on the coffee table was missing. Lu Ligan asked, "Where are my cigarettes?" "Outside," Wen Wen said, "smoking is not allowed in the room from now on. You have to smoke outside. By the way, remember to open the window." "I'll go. As soon as this little guy comes, my status in the family will plummet," Lu Ligan shouted. "Of course, you're not convinced? Do you think your father is that easy? Is it for nothing to follow your surname?" Qian curled her lips. Lu Ligan remembered it and asked, "Where was the 200 yuan she got yesterday?" "What?" Wen Wen asked. "Put it away for her. It's the only thing her biological mother left for her," Lu Ligan said, leaning back on the sofa and starting to perform. "When you are on your deathbed, and she stays by your bed, you hold her hand like this and tell her tremblingly, 'Child, mother wants to tell you a secret.' When that time comes, you can keep these two things together." I took out 100 yuan and gave it to her. Wen Wen and Qian listened and giggled non-stop, but thinking about what Lu Ligan said made sense. Wen Wen took out the 2 pieces of money that had been discounted, wrapped them in paper, and put them in the insurance in the cabinet. Lu Lizan hugged Lu Wenqian and went to the terrace outside. Wen Wen and Qian said in unison, "What do you want to do?" "Hold her outside to get some fresh air," Lu Ligan said. "Don't hold her and smoke," Wen Wen said. Lu Ligan said, "Okay, I won't hold her and smoke her." "You are not allowed to drink either," Qian said. "Why, are you afraid of getting her drunk?" Lu Ligan asked. "I'm afraid that you are so drunk that you won't be able to hold me firmly and you will fall to the ground," Qian said. Wen Wen kept nodding on the side. Lu Ligan sighed and shouted, "No smoking, no drinking, and I have to be a lonely old man at night. My life is boring." Qian said, "Yes, you go and die." Lu Ligan glared at her, but still hugged Lu Wenqian and went out. After a while, Lu Ligan came in from the outside with Lu Wenqian in his arms, passed through the living room, and was about to go downstairs. Wen Wen shouted, "Where are you going?" "I held her in my arms to see the beautiful scenery of our Hongling farmhouse," Lu Ligan said. "This is her home. How can she do it if she is not familiar with it?" Wen Wen waved her hand and signaled Lu Ligan to go ahead. Lu Ligan went out and came back, and said to Wen Wen, "Qian, I suggest you, if you don't wake up, hurry up and sleep for a while. The 3 of us have to take turns to deal with her. This little guy has too much energy exuberant." After Lu Ligan finished speaking, he hugged Lu Wenqian and went out. At lunchtime, Lu Ligan did not go drinking with Guanbei and the others, but came back with Lu Wenqian, who was also about to drink milk. As soon as Lu Ligan entered the door, Wen Wen and Qian looked at him and laughed. They saw a new canvas electrician's bag hanging on Lu Ligan's chest. Lu Wenqian put it in the electrician's bag and looked at him with bright eyes. Looking outside, Lu Lizan was holding the electrician's bag with both hands. Wen Wen smiled and said, "Are you a kangaroo mother?" Lu Ligan also laughed and said proudly, "Yes, did you see it? I went to the warehouse to get it specially. It is our exclusive bag for Lu Wenqian. She is already a member of Hongling Farmhouse and can now enjoy it. I have the labor protection supplies. Did you see this? This bag can also hold diapers and baby bottles. Carrying it like this can go up mountains and down embankments with no problem. With this hanging around your neck, it will be more like hey 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 again," Qian said. Lu Ligan actually bent down and said hey, 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 hey as he walked. The electrician's bag almost dropped to the ground. Lu Wenqian in the bag kept smiling. Thank you to readers 1297873838407110656, Quadratic VC, and 2 fish for the reward. Thank you to Lin Buxinja, Shachan Mood, Su Yuinian, Lao Shenza Sang, Book Friends 150216013302826, Wang Qingxi, and Gallant Wei for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1879. More than a week later, the daily remittances of dozens or hundreds of yuan from Xiaofang's account in Ronghui Finance stopped. After 3 days of cessation, Xiaofang received a letter from Ronghui Finance. A text message stated that they had entrusted Shanghai Qiuqing law firm to handle investor-related matters. Xiaofang was a little confused after reading this text message. She didn't know what they were talking about investor-related matters. When she called her, she still got a busy signal. When she left a message online, she only received an automatic reply of "Please leave a message, our staff will be with you reply as soon as possible." Xiaofang knew that this first time, there would never be a reply. Xiaofang put the phone aside and ignored it, but the phone rang. Xiaofang looked and saw that it was an unfamiliar number. She picked up the phone and the other party asked, "Excuse me, are you Ms. Zhao Zheng?" Xiaofang immediately understood that this phone call should be related to which online loan platform. When they entered the account, they used Zhao Zheng's ID card and bank card, but the phone number reserved was Xiaofang's, which made it easier to handle daily. Xiaofang nodded and said, "Yes, I am. Who are you?" The other party immediately asked, "Excuse me, has Ms. Zhao received a text message from Ronghui Finance?" Xiaofang said she received it. The other party introduced himself and said that he was Chen Xingfeng, a lawyer from Shanghai Qiuqing law firm, who was responsible for handling the business of Ronghui Finance. To put it simply, he was entrusted by them and was fully responsible for handling their debt problems. "Ms. Zhao, you must also know that there is a problem with the current capital chain of Ronghui Finance, right?" Lawyer Chen said. Xiaofang originally wanted to say, "But as far as I know, it seems not yet," but after thinking about it, she didn't say it. Instead, she said and said, "I know. Based on our experience in handling related businesses, when a platform has problems with its capital chain, it will only become more and more difficult for them, the liquidity will become worse and worse, and the risks for you investors will also become more and more serious big." Xiaofang was secretly amused, and she said, "Lawyer Chen, I don't know much about this industry. I can't understand anything about liquidity. Just tell me what I should do. For me, I just want to get my money back as soon as possible, since the interest is gone anyway." "I know that every investor wants to get their money back as soon as possible," Lawyer Chen said, but the fact is that Ronghui Finance is no longer able to repay, and they are now facing a large number of investor demands every day. If you want to withdraw cash and get your investment back, don't talk about them, it's the bank. When everyone goes for a run like this, the bank will also collapse, right? I don't know, Lawyer Chen, I told you, I don't know anything about this business, Xiaofang said, just keep it simple. Okay, to put it simply, Ronghui Finance is going to go bankrupt, Lawyer Chen said. Ah, how could this happen? Xiaofang asked, deliberately pretending to be anxious. What about our money? What can I do if it goes bankrupt? I think Ms. Zhao must not have invested in their platform. You should also know what is going on with these platforms now. If they go bankrupt, you will definitely not get the money, Chen the lawyer said. There is a word now, isn't it called explosion when a platform closes down? If it explodes, what else can you do? Then what should I do? Why am I so unlucky? Xiaofang shouted anxiously. Oh, don't worry, Ms. Zhao, there is such an opportunity now, the other party said to Xiaofang when he saw that the time was almost up. Xiaofang quickly asked, what opportunity? That's right. We have now found a powerful third party and are preparing to restructure their debt. For those who are eager to reduce their losses, we have provided a very good plan. What plan? Xiaofang asked. Acquire your investment at a discount, said Lawyer Chen. What do you mean? I don't quite understand, Xiaofang said. That's it, Ms. Zhao. By the way, how much money do you still have in Ronghui? Lawyer Chen asked. 48,756 yuan, Xiaofang answered. We can acquire your investment at a 30% discount, that is, you sell it to us at a 30% discount for the money you haven't received yet. Very soon, as long as we both sign an agreement, you can sell the original and Ronghui investment to us at a 30% discount, transfer the contract to us, and we can give you the money right away, on the spot, said Lawyer Chen. Oops, I have never encountered this before, Xiaofang thought to herself, is there still a platform playing this? Xiaofang pretended to be annoyed and said, it's only 30% off, which means that for my 48,756 yuan, I can only get more than 14,600 yuan, right? Yes, but you can get it right away, the other party said. But this is too little, Xiaofang said. Of course, you don't have to accept this plan. This is just a plan proposed by us and a third party. It has nothing to do with Ronghui. You don't have to accept this plan and continue to wait for Ronghui to process your investment funds. However, I heard that some people can no longer get money. Xiaofang almost blurted out, mine has also stopped, there is no money coming in. When the words came to her lips, she did not say them, but waited quietly to see what the other party said. There was silence on the phone for a while, then Lawyer Chen laughed softly and said, by the way, we can also accept your agency to sue Ronghui. If you can't trust us, you can also find a lawyer to sue them yourself. You will definitely win the lawsuit, but it doesn't matter whether they execute it or not. Do they have the money to execute it? That's another matter. You're not in a hurry, right, Ms. Zhao, you can wait slowly anyway. By the way, after you pay the legal fees and agency fees, you'd better send someone to Ronghui to keep an eye on them and don't let them run away, haha. Xiaofang sighed and said, Lawyer Chen, can you let me think about it? Okay, just think about it and call me, but you have to hurry up. The third party only gave us half a month to deal with this matter. After half a month, you just called me and said you thought about it. You have decided to sell your investment, and the third party will not accept it. Do you understand, Ms. Zhao? Xiaofang nodded and said okay, I understand. Xiaofang was going to the Shanghai company tomorrow. Xiaofang asked. By the way, Lawyer Chen, I would like to ask, I may go to Shanghai on a business trip in a few days. Can we have an interview? Yes, the other party said, however, we are very busy. Ms. Zhao, if you have thought about it and have plans to sell your investment, we can discuss the details in person, and even sign an agreement after the negotiation is completed. You can get it right away in Shanghai. If you have the money, if you don't have this will, there is no need for us to meet. You can just continue to contact Ronghui, do you understand? I understand, Xiaofang said. After hanging up the phone, Xiaofang immediately judged that there was something fishy. The other party first sent a text message to the investor in the name of Ronghui Finance, but the content of the text message was unclear. It just said that a law firm was entrusted to handle the investor's related affairs. The details he didn't say what the matter was. This text message was just an introduction to the Shanghai Qiuqing law firm, and then a lawyer appeared. The lawyer who appeared also emphasized that he represented a third-party investor and had nothing to do with Ronghui Finance. Careless or unclear investors thought that since they were introduced to this law firm through a text message from Ronghui Finance, they thought they were related in some way and that they were together, but they didn't know that there was a break point in the middle. Yes, the front and back are completely different things. How and what you talk about with this law firm has nothing to do with Ronghui Finance. Their purpose is just to acquire your debt at a discount. The purpose of doing this, Xiaofang sneered and laughed out loud, clever, really clever. In this way, if the investors invested 100 million in total, it would become 30 million. As long as Ronghui Finance makes a roundabout way in this way, they can completely get out of trouble, completely solve their debt problems, and can go on the road with ease and continue to cut the next crop of leaks. All risks can be passed on to them so easily. Thousands of investors took the plunge. Xiaofang made up her mind to meet the lawyer Chen Qingfeng. Not only did she want to meet him, but she also wanted to continue singing the show until it was over, singing to a conclusion, and watching the curtain fall. Xiaofang picked up the phone on the table, dialed it, and arranged things one by one. Just as Xiaofang put down the landline receiver on the table, her cell phone rang. Xiaofang looked at it and saw that it was Xiangnan, so she quickly picked it up. And Xiaofang, hello. Nanan, hello, what's the matter? Xiaofang asked. I would like to ask, Aunt Xiaofang, do you have any acquaintances at the US consulate in Shanghai? Xiangnan said on the phone. Xiaofang asked, what's wrong, Nanan? It's like this, Aunt Xiaofang, Xiaohu and the Fuban Financial Holdings Cultural Foundation have invited our troupe to tour the United States, Japan, and Taiwan. The first stop will be the United States. It's April 20th, the time is now. We are already very nervous. We heard that visas to the United States are now very tight. Nanan, you want to find someone to help you apply for a visa, right? Xiaofang asked. That's right, and besides, aren't they interviewed one by one? I'm mainly worried that there are a few people in our group who are not very qualified, but the people who go are all assigned to one seat. If 2 people are stuck, with 3 people, how can we perform? Xiangnan said. Xiaofang laughed and said, this is indeed a problem, but Nanan, you called the wrong person. Ah, if I don't call you, who should I call? Xiangnan asked. Have you ever called your uncle Zhang Chen? Uncle Zhang Chen? Is he familiar with the American consulate? Xiangnan was surprised. Zhang Xiangbei had not even mentioned it before. Uncle Zhang Chen was very familiar with the American Provisional Consulate, Xiangnan asked. He is not familiar with them, but Su Qiuxin and Zhao Xian are both very familiar with the Consul General. The Consul General often comes to the Riverside Oil Painting Gallery, and Zhao Xian is his translator, Xiaofang said. Haha, that's it? Then instead of calling Uncle Zhang Chen, I'll call Aunt Qiuxin directly. Xiangnan smiled on the phone. Okay, by the way, Nanan, when will you go to the United States in April? Xiaofang asked. On the 20th, for the specific time, we will see the flight tickets booked by Xiaohu and his foundation. On the 20th? That's great, Nanan. Your Aunt Lu Yun and I will also go to the United States by that time. Really, really, Aunt Xiaofang, Xiang Nan shouted. Yes, Fanhua Network will be listed on Nasdaq on May 2nd. Aunt Lu Yun and I need to go there early, Xiaofang and Xiangnan said. Thank you for flowers and youth, broken dreams in the void, shadowless feet, wind and waves. 26, illusion in the wind, no future, just remember the original intention. Hoo, God, my monthly ticket is so high. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1880. The day after Xiaofang arrived in Shanghai, she contacted lawyer Chen Qingfeng and asked if she could meet with him since she was in Shanghai. What are your plans now? Lawyer Chen asked lukewarmly. I have already thought about transferring my investment to you, just as you said, Xiaofang said. However, I will return to Changsha tomorrow, so I hope that I can complete the procedures today and get the once you get the money. Well, let's just say it's a loss, I admitted, this thing is annoying to death. When the other party heard what Xiaofang said, he immediately changed his attitude. He said enthusiastically, okay, then we will meet in the afternoon. I will come over with the third party. After completing the procedures, you can get the money right away. Xiaofang said yes. Where should we meet? The other party asked Xiaofang, where are you? Xiaofang knew in her heart that the other party didn't want them to come to the door, so they arranged to meet outside. There was a cafe downstairs in Jinmao building where they could meet, but Xiaofang was worried about meeting here because she knew too many people, and her companies, from Lu Yun's company, and Zhang Chen and others who were customized by Liu. Who knows who they might meet, they would come over and say hello to her, call her Mr. Gan, and then they would get involved. Xiaofang didn't want to go as far as Puxi. She told lawyer Chen, I live at a friend's place, and my friend's house is here in Lianyang. The two parties immediately made an appointment to meet at the coffee shop of Lianyang Plaza at 2:30 in the afternoon. Lianyang Plaza is not far from Xiaofang's home of Century Jingxiu. Turn left from Jingxiu Road and go up Fangdian Road. Then go through another intersection and reach Yingchun Road, and you will reach Lianyang Plaza. Lu Qing asked Xiaofang, do I need to call a few more people to go with you? Before Xiaofang could speak, Zhao Zheng said, no, in broad daylight, in public, what else will happen to them? Besides, it's them. Okay, I understand, you can deal with it too, Lu Qing and Zhao Zheng said. Xiaofang looked at Zhao Zheng and said, I think your hands are itchy. Zhao Zheng smiled sheepishly, and everyone laughed too. Xiaofang and Lu Qing said, the key is not when we meet, but after we meet. We have to follow them and see where they go. In this way, we will go there together in the afternoon. Zhao Zheng and I will meet them. After meeting, we will follow them. Lu Qing said yes. It was almost the appointed time, and the five of them took Lu Qing's car and left. When they arrived opposite Lianyang Plaza, Lu Qing stopped the car and got out of the car. Xiao Ding from their company, Xiao Ding crossed the road. Walked to Lianyang Plaza opposite. Lu Qing started the car and continued to drive forward until she reached the end of Lianyang Plaza. At the Dingxiang intersection, she pulled over and Xiaofang and Zhao Zheng got out of the car. The two of them walked back to Lianyang Plaza. When they arrived at the entrance of the cafe on the square, they saw Xiao Ding already in place, sitting on a chair under the shade of a tree in the square, pretending to read a book, but in fact his attention was on the opposite side. Sitting here in the cafe, you can have a clear view of the cafe opposite, whether it is the three tables at the door or the shop inside the glass. Xiao Fang and Zhao Zheng walked over. They didn't even look at Xiao Ding, and they pretended not to know each other. Xiao Fang and Zhao Zheng walked into the cafe. Only half of the dozens of tables in the cafe were occupied. Xiao Fang and Zhao Zheng looked around and saw a man in his 30s wearing rimless glasses. He stood up and waved to them. Sitting with him was a man of about the same age. Xiao Fang and Zhao Zheng walked over, and Xiao Fang asked, "Are you Lawyer Chen?" The other party said yes, and asked, "Are you Miss Zhao?" Zhao Zheng said quickly, "My surname is Zhao, and this is my cousin, whose surname is Liu. I don't understand this matter at all. Let my cousin help me talk." The other party seemed to be alert immediately, was stunned for a moment, and asked Xiao Fang, "Where is Miss Liu from?" "I am from Chongqing, and I came to Shanghai from Changsha yesterday to visit with my cousin," Xiao Fang said with a smile. "My cousin told me about this, and I persuaded her that these people are doing online loans now. If you close the door, you can take it back while you can still get some, otherwise, you may not even be able to get more than 10,000 in a few days." "Yes, yes, yes, many of our clients think so." "This is a smart choice," Lawyer Chen said. "I heard that Xiao Fang was also from out of town and came to Shanghai to play. In addition, they really only had 2 girls." The other party was relieved. Lawyer Chen introduced the man sitting next to him and said to them, "This is Mr. Zhang, from a third party." Xiao Fang smiled and said to him, "Hello, Mr. Zhang." Mr. Zhang sat there expressionless and just nodded. There was music playing in the cafe in the afternoon and it was a bit noisy. Xiao Fang looked outside and saw that one of the 3 tables was empty. Xiao Fang and Lawyer Chen said, "Let's go outside, the weather is so nice today." Lawyer Chen said, "Okay, go outside." Mr. Zhang, who was sitting, also stood up, and the 4 of them walked outside together. Xiao Fang saw that Lawyer Chen winked at the 2 people sitting at a table not far away. They were obviously together. Those 2, the individual continued to sit and did not stand up. The 4 of them sat down outside. Lawyer Chen greeted the waiter, took out his and Mr. Jiang's coffee, and asked Xiao Fang and the others to place their orders. When Xiao Ding saw the 4 of them coming out, he lowered his head and looked at his book intently. Xiao Fang and Lawyer Chen said, "My cousin told me the matter, but she didn't understand it. After talking for a long time, she didn't explain it very clearly." "Lawyer Chen, can you tell me the matter again?" Lawyer Chen said yes, and said what he said to Xiao Fang on the phone again. When he was talking, Xiao Fang nodded from time to time, and added a sentence or 2 in the middle, such as "Yes, yes, the current situation is uncertain, these platforms are like this, who cares whether you live or die." Xiao Fang responding to him in this way made Lawyer Chen more and more excited as he talked. The other party was such a beautiful woman, making him completely unwary. Xiao Fang praised, "You are really awesome, but you have indeed helped investors. By the way, have you done a lot of this kind of business? I am very curious about how many investors will be cheated by this platform already." "How much?" Ha! Lawyer Chen let out a ha, leaned back slightly, put his fingers on the glass table, and said proudly, "I'm afraid I'll scare you if I tell you. The acquisition alone is the money we spent, there are more than 32 million. It's impossible. Proportionally speaking, that would be an investment of more than 100 million, Xiao Fang shouted. "Of course, you know how many investors are involved and how busy we are, so I called Ms. Zhao and said, I know. My cousin told me that if we didn't have such intention, you would be very busy and wouldn't meet us. Don't worry, Lawyer Chen, we definitely have this intention. We will sign an agreement when we come." "Yes," Xiao Fang said, "it's just that the number you just told me really scared me." "Is it really that many?" "Of course, there's nothing wrong with this." Lawyer Chen turned around and said to Mr. Zhang, "Open the account on your computer and show it to the 2 beauties to see our payment records." Mr. Zhang sat still. He probably thought that Lawyer Chen talked too much. He frowned slightly. Xiaofang quickly said. No, no, Lawyer Chen, you are here to help us. How could we not believe what you said? Of course we do. By the way, Lawyer Chen, what should we do next? Did you bring a copy of Ms. Zhao's ID card? Lawyer Chen asked. Take it, Xiaofang said. In this way, the procedure is very simple. Ms. Zhao used to be in Ronghui Finance. Didn't she have a contract confirmed online? The contracts are all numbered. We have a transfer agreement here. You can use this numbered contract and all rights. Transfer them all to us, and at the same time, sign another power of attorney, entrusting us to pursue all investment rights and interests from Ronghui Finance, and that's it. Is it that simple? Xiaofang asked. Yes, it's that simple, Lawyer Chen said. Then when can we get the money? Xiaofang asked. I mean, if we sign the contract but you don't give us the money, what will we do? Lawyer Chen and Mr. Zhang both laughed. We are not bandits, and we will rob in public. Did you see that there are surveillance cameras all around? Lawyer Chen said. You sign these 2 documents, and the documents will be placed on this table. We will not come on, I'll transfer the money to you immediately. Once the money arrives, we can take the documents and leave, okay? Is that so? Of course that's okay, Xiaofang said. By the way, we still need to take a few photos, Lawyer Chen said. The first is the photos of Miss Zhao when she signed these 2 documents, which proves that the documents were indeed signed by Miss Zhao herself. The second is at the end, Miss Zhao holding her own. Please take a photo with your ID card to prove that it is indeed authorized by Miss Zhao herself. Does Miss Zhao mind? Zhao Zheng looked at Xiaofang, who nodded and said yes. Attorney Chen took out a blue folder from his bag, opened the folder, and took out 2 documents. When Xiaofang saw it, she almost laughed out loud. It seemed that the other party had already thought about this matter. They are well prepared and feel that it is a sure thing. It is also possible that they want to end the process quickly. Xiaofang saw that on these 2 documents, Zhao Zheng's name and ID number, including the contract number, the remaining amount of investment money, the amount of acquisition money, etc., were all printed. Zhao Zheng only needed to fill in the payment. Just give your bank card number, sign at the end, and write the date. Lawyer Chen reminded, Ms. Liu, just check whether the ID number, contract number, and payment amount are correct. After checking it carefully, Xiaofang deliberately took out her mobile phone and recalculated the amount to confirm that it was correct. Xiaofang nodded and said, everything was correct. Zhao Zheng looked at Xiaofang and said, cousin, then I signed it? Xiaofang said yes. Zhao Zheng began to sign the 2 documents. As she was signing, Lawyer Chen raised his mobile phone to take a photo. After signing, he asked Zhao Zheng to stand up, holding his ID card in hand, and took a bust photo. Then, he asked Zhao Zheng to sign his name on the back of the copy of his ID card. After signing, Lawyer Chen took out a box of ink pads and asked Zhao Zheng to put her fingerprints on all the places where she signed her name. After Zhao Zheng completed her fingerprints, he thoughtfully handed her a napkin and asked her to wipe her hands. Zhao Zheng quickly said thank you. The signed documents lay quietly on the table, between the 2 groups of people. Lawyer Chen and Mr. Zhang said, okay, you can make the payment. Mr. Zhang did not open his computer, but took out his mobile phone, leaned over, and looked at the bank card operation on the agreement. After a while, he said to Zhao Zheng, fight it. Zhao Zheng took out his mobile phone, looked at it, and said to Xiaofang, we're here. Lawyer Chen smiled and said to Xiaofang, beauty, can we take these 2 documents away now? Xiaofang said yes. Over there, Mr. Zhang has already asked the waiter to pay the bill. Lawyer Chen put the documents into the folder and put the folder into his bag. He stood up and said to Xiaofang and the others, "You two beauties, please continue to sit. We are leaving first. We have to catch the next show." Xiaofang stood up and shook hands with him. Lawyer Chen said, "Beauty, see you next time." Xiaofang smiled and said, "Don't meet me anymore. If we meet you once, we will lose more than 30,000 yuan. If we meet you a few more times, we will jump off the building." Lawyer Chen and Mr. Zhang both laughed. "Thank you for the reward of 2 fishes. Thank you to Guandian Electromechanical, Evergreen Yan Dadi, Shadowless Foot, Xiao Dongman, Shachin Mood, Wahaji, Rainman, Captain Jim, Happy Every Year, and Cai Yuli for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health." The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1881. Lawyer Chen and Mr. Zhang left, and then the 2 people in the store came out immediately and followed them. Xiaofang and Zhao Zheng were still sitting there. Xiaofang winked at Xiaoding, and Xiaoding stood up. "Follow." Seeing that they went to the underground parking lot, Xiaoding was waiting not far from the exit, pretending to be playing with his mobile phone. Over there, Xiaofang called Lu Qing and asked her to come over. Xiaofang and Zhao Zheng stood up and walked to the roadside in Fangdian. Lu Qing drove a car in front of them and the 2 got in the car. The car was parked there, neither started nor turned off. After a while, Xiaoding ran over and said to Lu Qing as soon as he got in the car, "Dark gray Audi Q7. Xiaoding then told Lu Qing the license plate number. Lu Qing immediately started the car and turned from Fangdian Road to Yingchun Road. When he almost arrived at the entrance of the Shanghai Maritime Court, he caught up with the Audi Q7. He did not dare to chase too close and followed it more than 20 meters away. There was a car in the middle, so we followed them forward. They went around from the front of the Shanghai Science and Technology Museum to Dingxiang Road, turned left and walked through the path next to the wetland of the Science and Technology Museum. When they were approaching the intersection of Century Avenue, the yellow light flashed and the Audi Q7 rushed past. Lu Qing wanted to hit the gas pedal. When they caught up, the car in front of them had stopped. The yellow light changed to red, and I watched helplessly as the Audi Q7 disappeared into the traffic on Century Avenue opposite. When the light turned green, Lu Qing turned around at the intersection and passed the car in front of her. She stepped on the accelerator and chased ahead. When she reached the intersection of Century Avenue, Zhongyang Road, and Dongfang Road, she was dumbfounded. There were 6 or 7 cars in front of her. "Road, I don't know which way to pursue." "Let's go along Century Avenue," Xiaofang said. Lu Qing continued to drive along Century Avenue and chased her to the downstairs of Jinmao Tower. She did not see the shadow of the Audi Q7 again. Lu Qing pulled over and asked Xiaofang, "What to do?" "Wait a moment," Xiaofang said. 7 or 8 minutes later, Xiaofang's cell phone rang, and she smiled as soon as she answered it. The caller was a colleague Xiaofang sent to guard under the Ronghui Finance office building next to the Aurora building. He told Xiaofang that the Audi Q7 was back. Sure enough, as Xiaofang expected, while they were still on the road, Xiaofang sent the license plate of the car to Xiaomi. Xiaomi responded to WeChat and said that it had been checked and that the car belonged to Ronghui Finance. Xiaofang judged from this that they were going back instead of rushing to the next game. Xiaofang and Lu Qing said, "Let's go there." When they arrived at the downstairs of the office building, their colleague came over and told them that they had gone upstairs. 3 of them, and 1 more, drove to the underground parking garage and should have gone upstairs from there. Xiaofang and Lu Qing said, "Zhao Zheng and I will go up. You contact Officer Wang. When they arrive, you will wait for me here first. When I send you a message, you can come up again." Lu Qing said yes. Xiaofang and Zhao Zheng got off the car, walked into the lobby, and arrived at the elevator room. The 4 elevators here can be freely climbed up and down. Unlike Jinmao Tower, there are no designated elevators to go to designated floors, and no card swiping is required. They entered the elevator and pressed the button for the 22nd floor. The elevator door opened, and there were 4 golden characters of Ronghui Finance in front of them. This floor was filled with the offices of Ronghui Finance. When they walked out of the elevator hall, they were at the front desk of Ronghui Finance. The lady at the front desk asked them who they were looking for. "Let's find Lawyer Chen and Mr. Zhang," Xiaofang said. "Lawyer Chen? Mr. Zhang? Which Lawyer Chen and Mr. Zhang?" the front desk lady blurted out, and Xiaofang understood that these 2 people should be pseudonyms. Xiaofang said, "Then I will find your boss. Which unit do you belong to?" "Can I just be an ordinary investor?" Xiaofang said, "I have never seen any platform that would stop investors." "Why, you are so special here." The lady at the front desk looked at her and was speechless. Xiaofang and Zhao Zheng walked inside. There was an office hall inside. Dozens of people were sitting in front of computers. Everyone was very busy. They were all taking calls. Inside the large office area, there was an L-shaped row. The rooms separated by glass are divided into independent offices. Zhao Zheng pulled Xiaofang and nuzzled his lips to the side. Xiaofang saw on the left, across the large office area, behind the glass partition, the figures of Lawyer Chen and Mr. Zhang. Looking at this room again, it was the finance department. Xiaofang gestured to Zhao Zheng, and the 2 of them walked over there. Before they reached the door of the finance department, Lawyer Chen and Mr. Zhang also saw them. Their expressions changed immediately, and they hurried to the entrance of the finance department. Xiaofang deliberately shouted loudly, "Lawyer Chen, you never expected that we would meet so soon." Everyone else in the large office area turned their heads in their direction. Lawyer Chen asked, "Our matter has not been resolved, why are you still here?" Xiaofang smiled and said, "Your matter has been resolved, but mine has not. Qiuqing law firm does exist in Shanghai, but they actually only have 2 people. One boss, Lawyer Wan Qiuqing, and a female assistant. They don't have one there. What about Lawyer Chen Qingfeng, then? Lawyer Chen, who are you? Here at Ronghui Finance, why did you send us that text message again?" Lawyer Chen's face turned pale, and the people sitting there stopped what they were doing and looked at them. Lawyer Chen quickly said to Xiaofang, "Let's go to the conference room. Let's go to the conference room to talk." Xiaofang agreed, and said to Mr. Zhang, who was stunned there, "Mr. Zhang, you are coming too. By the way, call there Mr. Bian over. If he doesn't come, we will go to his office." Mr. Zhang quickly said okay. Xiaofang, Zhao Zheng, and Lawyer Chen walked into the conference room. Xiaofang and Lawyer Chen sat down facing each other. After a while, Mr. Zhang came in with a middle-aged man, and the 2 sat down next to Lawyer Chen. Zhao Zheng closed the door and stood by the door. She did not come over to sit down. Xiaofang looked at the middle-aged man and asked, "Are you Mr. Bian?" The man frowned and nodded. Xiaofang said, "I can call Mr. Lu from Concord Insurance directly, or I can call Ms. Hejing from Temasek directly and ask them to attend this meeting together. How about Mr. Bian? Let them attend together, or not, let's talk directly." As soon as Xiaofang said these words, Mr. Bian's face turned pale. Lawyer Chen quickly said, "Beautiful lady, if you have any requests, we can discuss it directly." Xiaofang nodded. She said, "Okay, then I will talk about it first." Xiaofang looked at the 3 men opposite and said, "I have recorded all the conversations we had in Lianyang Plaza. I have also obtained the evidence that needs to be obtained. I just need to compare it with the financial records here. When the 2 of you find out who you really are, your whole scam will be exposed." "What kind of scam?" "It's none of my business. If something happens, It's between you two. Mr. Bien stood up and wanted to leave. Sit down, Xiaofang shouted, I just told you, do you need me to call Ms. He? You think I am scaring you? Look, is this Ms. He's phone number? Xiaofang held up the phone in her hand and showed it to Mr. Bien. Xiaofang continued. However, at your level, you should not be able to contact Ms. He directly. You don't know her phone number. So, can Mr. Lu do this? I can also call him. Mr. Bien glanced at Xiaofang's mobile phone screen and sat back down from the stool. He looked at Mr. Chen, who quickly said, Beauty, if you have any questions, we can talk to you. By the way, do you want to get your investment back? Yes, I can pay you the full amount right away. Xiaofang smiled and said, Lawyer Chen, I will call you Lawyer Chen for now. Although you are a fake, why are you anxious? I haven't finished talking yet. How do you know that we are here to get investment funds? Maybe, you're so generous, why don't we care about that little money? Then what do you want? Can we return 3 times, no, 5 times, to you? Lawyer Chen asked anxiously. Xiaofang didn't answer. She looked at Bien and said, Mr. Bien is right. If other investors come to you and you say it has nothing to do with you, you can just put the matter away. You can even say that you don't know them at all, right? It's just that, now that the 3 of you are here, this matter will be difficult to handle, but I was also wrong. The 3 men looked at her, wondering what she wanted to say. Xiaofang continued. Where did I go wrong? I originally thought that this was the behavior of Mr. Bien and your entire company, and you wanted to use this method to escape the debts of investors. Now I know that this is not a collective behavior, but a few of you, the fraud of individuals working together internally and externally to defraud investors and shareholders of their money, also solved a mystery for me. Before this, I have learned that there is no problem with the capital chain of your Ronghui finance, at least not yet. So why are you acting like a platform that is about to have problems? It turns out that there is no problem. These are all illusions created by you. The incessant money transfers and the inability to make phone calls are all illusions created by you. The purpose is to make us feel that your company is about to be ruined and make us panic. At this time, you recommend a so-called Shanghai Qiuqing law firm to act like this. You have also selected the target of deception, either local in Shanghai. If you are nearby, you will definitely not lie to me. You are afraid that they will come to your door right away. They specifically deceive us from other places, for example, like us, our ID cards and bank cards are all from Hunan. If we also come to your door, Mr. Bien, you can argue that you have no idea about this and that the information was not sent by you. Am I right? You will also explain to us that the company there were some financial problems, but now they are all resolved. If you want to get your investment back, you can get it back right away. If I were an ordinary investor, at this point, what else could I say? I would definitely not cause trouble and just take the money and leave, right? But if we encounter people like us today who are eager to recover some of their losses and believe what Lawyer Chen and others say, they will sign an agreement with them. By the way, Lawyer Chen, I just ask you to go to Changsha to go through the procedures. Will you go too? Haha, you are indeed very busy. I think you are busy traveling to various parts of the country to sign this kind of agreement. As we are talking, do you still have some people out there? As long as you purchase the investment funds from us, you will take the power of attorney and come back here. After Mr. Bien signs it, the finance, by the way, the finance must be with you, they will not have objections, that's it. You can get the full investment amount right away, and as soon as you turn around, you will earn 70%, right? In this way, there is really no trace of what was done. Even your shareholders were kept in the dark. It shows in your accounts that you returned 100% of the money to investors. What you lost was the hundreds or thousands of investors. All of this is really done perfectly. Just by relying on such collusion, how much money have you made? I believe that lawyer Chen's figure is not wrong. You have indeed defrauded investors from all over the country by more than 70 million yuan by using this method, right? This can be found out immediately as long as you check your accounts. I believe there must be a separate account in the finance department. The three of them sat there and listened to Xiaofang's words, feeling as if they were on pins and needles. When Xiaofang said this, Mr. Bian couldn't sit still. He stood up and walked out. Xiaofang shouted, "Mr. Bian, what do you want to do? Go ask the finance department to destroy the accounts." Zhao Zhang stood by the door. When Mr. Bian approached, she grabbed Mr. Bian's neck, pushed him back hard, and shouted, "Go back." Mr. Bian stumbled back a few steps, fell down, and his back fell onto the back of the chair. At this time, Lu Qing and a dozen policemen came in from outside the gate. The policeman shouted, "Everyone get off the computer immediately, get up, and stand up for me. Thank you Hu Hu and Tianzong Hong for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone."